Hi, today we are going to learn about the methods or the functions in Java with respect to Selenium. Okay, I'm not going to explain you deep into the functions and all those things, but the basic things which a tester has to know so that it can so that he can use the functions or the methods in Selenium in an efficient way. Okay, so we'll go forward. Okay, we know that each and every programming language to perform any type of operation, we use the concept of functions. Okay. In Java programming, the function concept is known as the method. Okay, if you are calling in Java, we have to call this. It is not compulsory that we have to call a function as a method, but it is called as a method. Okay, or it can be called as an action. Okay, there are different names. Okay, function or a method or an action, everything is the same thing. Okay, so you are better accustomed with the name function because you already know about the C language and all. Later, okay, to perform any operation using method or a function, there are three phases. First thing, a method must take an input, a method must process the input, a method must give the result or display the result. Okay, that's what a method do. First we will give some input to the method. uh, the method or the function will perform some operation by taking the input, and it will give some output. That output can be used. Okay, what is actually taking, what is processing, what is giving means we will be knowing it through an what you call program. Okay, so how data can be given to a function, how the processing of data is done in a function, and how the data is given by the function. Okay, all written by the function. Okay, that all we will be seeing. So this is how it will be going on. I will see how the input can be taken by the what you call method, then how the input is being processed, and how the value is being returned by the function or the method. Okay, this whole things we will be seeing it. Okay, then this is the slogan of a function: write once or define once and call from anywhere. Okay, this is what is the slogan. How the slogan works we will see. Okay, here the number of approaches to define a function, to define a method or a function. Okay, there are four different approaches to define a method. A method will take the input and a method will return the output. This is one approach. Then a method will not take the input and a method will return the output. Okay, a method will take the input and a method will not return the output. Okay, and a method will not take the input and a method will return the output. That's what it is. uh, First thing is a method is taking the input and returning the value and giving the output, and second one is the method will not take the input and will return the output. Actually it is will not return the output. Okay, there might be a small mistake, I think. Okay, so there are four different ways. Okay, first we will see the first way. Okay, before that we will see the syntax also. Okay, this is the syntax for a function, for defining a function. uh, First we have to write the return type, name of the function, and in the brackets the list of formal parameters has to be done if at all they are there, if at all any input has been passed. Then comes the block of statements, or the where actually the processing of the input will be done. Here actually this is called the business logic. The whole thing is called the body of the method or the method body. This is the method head. Okay, this whole thing will be called the method head, and this thing will be within these flower brackets is called the method body. Okay, the statements which are written inside the body is actually called the business logic. Okay, so uh, we will see in a program how it will be done. So I am this is the editor which I am using. This is the Eclipse I am using. First I will create a project, new project, Java project. Next, okay, sample project. Okay, finish. Okay, no, because I wanted to use the default view, I don't want to change the view, so I am clicking on no. Okay, after that, okay, Java library is being added to the project, and this is the source folder where I have to create the class and the modules. Right click, new, package. Package means I'm creating the module, mod. Okay, if I'm not creating the module or a package, it will be taking the default package, okay, which I don't want. I want my own package, okay, or module. Next thing, right click on the module, new, class. Okay, class name should be my class. Okay, and I want main statement in my main function in my class, so I am clicking here. Okay, package it mod, or and class name is my class, and this is the main method. Okay, this is the main method. So now how to create or how to define my own method? Actually, here we have seen that here here the syntax says that there should be a return type, there should be a name, there should be a list of parameters. We'll see all those things in this program, how the this thing has to, means the method has to be defined. One second. Okay, so this is one method, this is the main method. I wanted to define my own method over here. First thing, I have to write the method name. Suppose the method name may be function or fun. Okay, and here is the open and close brackets, inside which actually we have to write about the formal parameters or okay, but here at present I don't want to talk about the parameters right now. Okay, this says that this is a function. Okay, this is the function name, fun is a function name, the open and close brackets are there. Now after that we have to write the logic inside these flower brackets. Okay, again it is showing the error message, means every function apart from having some logic, business logic, can return a value. Okay, means this function can return a value, but at present I don't want to return any value, so I am clicking on, I'm entering void. Void means this function is having the ability to return a value, but in this function is not returning any value. Okay, this is how we will define a function. Okay, and this is what is function definition, and I wanted to make my function as static, so I will use the word static. Okay, and means the logic will be same for all the objects in a class, so I don't want to use the object reference for calling this function. I wanted to use the class reference or I wanted to yes, I want to use the class reference. That's why I'm making this function as a static. Okay. There is a separate tutorial for what is a static and what is a non-static function. Okay, at present this class is about how to define a function. So what we are doing is how to first we have to write the function name, open close brackets, flower brackets. In the flower brackets we have to write the logic of the function, and we have to write the void or the return type over here. Okay, if I don't want to return any value, I will write void. If I want to return any value, I have to write the data type of that variable. And at present I don't want to use a object for calling this function, so I am clicking it, I am writing it as static function, and I wanted to use this method in my entire project, so I am clicking it in, I am entering public. Okay, this is how it goes. First enter the name of the method, then if you want to return any value, enter the type of value or the data type you wanted to return. And if you want to means if you think that the logic of this function will be same for all the objects, or if you want to use a reusable function and you don't want the other users to change the logic of the function, or then you have to make it as static. And if you want to make the method to be used in my entire project, so I am making it as public. Okay, then there I told you that there are different approaches. There are 4 different approaches. The first approach is function taking the input and function giving the output. Function taking the input, function giving the output. First, how a function, this is a function definition, how a function will take the input. Means we have to give the input while calling the function. Means suppose this is a method, this is a main method, and this is the my own user defined method. If I want to call this method, suppose that I will be writing one statement over here. Otherwise I will do one thing. I will take a function, name it as add. I wanted to add something. I want to do some operation. Suppose add is a function, okay, where I will be adding 2 numbers, but the input, the values I will be taking from the method call. Means suppose that this, as you know that this statements which in the main function will be executed. Suppose that I am calling this function here, so I have to call, I have to use add. Directly I will write, I am writing like this. It is okay because it is a static function, no need to create an object. Okay, otherwise you can call through class name. What is the class name over here? My class. So my class dot add. You can write in this way, or simply because it is in the same module or it is in the same class, so you use directly add. No need of writing the class name. If you are using in a different class, then you have to use the class name. Okay, but it is not mandatory at present. Okay, so here what I am calling this function. Okay, but the first approach says that we have to give some input and the method will give some output also. How you will give the input to this method while calling? Means I will give the values, 2 values which I wanted to add while calling. Means suppose I wanted to add 10 and 20, so I am giving 10, 20 while calling. It is giving the error message because it is not finding the method which is which is taking the values. Here it is not taking any values, no. So now here it is giving some values, so I have to take those values. So how it will be taking? These are all integers, so I will be taking the 2 integers over here, int some a comma int b. Okay, here is one approach where the data or the input is given while calling. I am giving the input. The method is taking the input here. 10 will be stored in A and 20 will be stored in B. It is taking the input, means while execution it will be taking those values. Okay, then what I will do is I will take another variable int C. In C, what I will do, I will add A and B, A plus B. Okay, and the first approach is not only giving the input but also taking the output. Means it will take the input and it will give back the output. What is the output over here? C. I don't want to print C or the value of C here, but I wanted to print the value of C in the main program. So what I have to do is I have to give this value where to the value to the main program, or the to the I have to return the value of C. Where it will be written, where it is being called, there it will be returning the value. So I have to use what I wanted to return the value, but here I have written that I don't want to return any value, but here I wanted to return it. So what apart from, means by using, you should not use the void here, because I wanted to return C and C is an integer type, so I have to write int. Okay, but here it is showing the error. Okay, you told that you are right, you will be returning the integer value, but you have not returned it. For returning an integer value or the value, or for returning any value, you have to write the return statement or the return keyword, return. Return. What I wanted to return? I wanted to return C. So C. Now C will be returned where? Here. Okay. So this is one approach where the input is given to the method and the input is being processed by the method and the output is given back. Okay, it is taking the input, processing the input, and the output is given back. Where it will be given? Here it will be, where we are calling the method, it will be given there. But to hold that value, okay, it is returning the C value or it is returning the integer value, but I have to hold that integer value. For holding that integer value, I have to store that value in some other variable. Let it be some Z. I wanted to store that value in Z, and that Z should be integer. Okay, because I am returning the integer value here, and that integer value should be stored in Z, so Z should be also integer. Okay, and I wanted to print the Z value here, so the output here, print Z, so Z. So this is one approach where actually we are giving the input, or the function is taking the input and it is processing the input and it is giving back the output. Okay, see, input is taken here, process has been done, and the output is returned back. So it will be returned here, and which will be stored in Z, and that data type is also the same return type, and I am printing it. I will run this one here, that is printed. Okay, this is first approach. Okay, one second, first approach is over. The method will take the input and the method will return the output. The second approach is the method will not take the input, and the method actually will not return the output. Okay, here it is a small mistake over here. Okay, the method will not take the input and the method will not return the output. That is the second approach. Suppose second approach, how the second approach will be, I am deleting this whole thing over here, and the again I will be doing that. Okay, the second thing is the method will not take any input, so let it be the function. Here I am calling the function, and the function I am not passing any data, means I am not giving any input. Okay, if I am not giving any input, how can a function can take the input? So here the function call is this one. One second. Okay, here I am defining the problem. I told you fun, it is not taking any input. Okay, this is where I will be writing my logic, and it will be not giving any output, means there will not be any return type, means we have to write the return type will be void, means here this void is a return type but not a data type. Okay, here this void is a return type but not a data type. Void means even though the function is having the ability to return a value, but I don't want to return any value, that's why I have written void. Okay, void is a return type, means this function will not return any value. The void says that this function will not return any value, and we have not passed any values as a parameter, so this function will not get any input also. So whatever should be done, it has to be done in the function itself. So directly you can't, if you want to use the function directly, you have to make it this function as static. Okay, and public, because I wanted to use this function in my entire project. Okay, here the error has been gone. So here the we didn't get any input from the calling through the calling to this function. So what I have to do, I have to declare my own inputs over here. Int some age equal to 10, some b is equal to 30. I am initializing the values also, and int c is equal to a plus b, and as I am not giving any output here, or I am not returning any output, so I have to print the output over here. I don't want to return any value. Okay, so no need of return statement also, so I am returning here. Okay, this is another way where I am not giving any input and I am not taking out any output, or the function is not taking any input and it is not giving back any output. There is no return. Okay, I will be running this. Okay, 40 you are getting it, but the initial the data is been given in the same function, the process is being done in the same function, and the output is also being displayed in the same function. Okay, so this is the second approach where the method is not taking any input and it is not giving any output. Okay, and the third one, the method will take the input, and the third one is the method will take the input and the method will not return any value. Okay, this is the third one where the method will be taking the inputs here, but it will not return the output, means here I will not be giving the inputs over here, but while calling I will give the inputs. So this 10 and 30 I will be given here, 10 comma 30. Okay, here I will be taking it out. Here it is giving the values while calling, so I have to take those values while defining it. So int some a comma int. Sorry, it is not like that. I think the method will take the the method will take the input, right, so right, and it will not give the output. Okay, same thing. Okay, sorry. Okay, here the method is taking the inputs, but it is not returning any value. It is not returning the output. This is the third one. Okay, I will run it. Okay, 40 it is printed. Okay, so here the method is taking the inputs, but the output, it is processing the inputs in the same function, and it is printing, or it is displaying the output in the same function, but it is not giving the any value to the called function, to the function where it is being called. Okay, and the fourth one is the method will not take any input, and the method will return the output. Okay, here the method will not take the input, the reverse, and the method will return the output. Means here the method is not taking any input, but the method will return the output. Means if it is not taking it, I can't take the input. So here it will be gone. But the input, if it is not, I am not taking the input, so I have to give the inputs here only. Int a is equal to 50, int, or sorry, some b is equal to some 90. Okay, and here I am not getting the inputs from here, but I am giving the output. I means I am returning the value. I am returning the output. What I am returning, what is the output over here? C. I wanted to return C. C is an of integer type. So void, instead of void I have to use int. Okay. If these are float values, I have to use float. If I want to return the float value, I have to return the float. Okay, whatever value I wanted to return, that value data type has to be written over here. So I wanted to return C, and the data type of C is integer or int, so I'm returning int over here. So here I am not printing the value, but if you are returning any value, the return statement has to be written. So return what value I wanted to return? C. Okay, so return C. If I wanted to, here I am returning the value, but you may or may not use that value. Okay, but I am returning the value means I wanted to use the value in that in my project. So here I am returning the integer value or the C value. So I have to create a variable to hold that value or to catch that value. So I will be C, or I will be, if I will be keeping C means it will be confused. What is this C? This C is the same or this C or not? So I am not. I will be keeping it as some X. Okay, of integer type, and I will be printing that X. Okay, I will run it. Okay, 140 is being printed. Okay, there are the four approaches. The first approach is where the function will be taking the input and it is giving some output, or it is giving one value. A function is having the means the ability to return only one value. You can return only one value. You can't return the multiple values. Okay, you can return only one value. Uh, and the second approach is neither it is taking the input nor it is giving the some any value, or it is giving the output. And the third one is it is not taking any input, but it is it is taking the input, but it is not giving any output. And the fourth one is it is not taking the input and it is giving the output. Okay, they are the four ways. If you want the four ways, you once again, here it should be and here it should be will not, sorry, will not return any value. Okay, this is the other four ways um, of using the function. Okay, thank you for now.